Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about a winter practice plan that you can follow to get goated this winter at cubing. I'm talking about cubing. Welcome to Spacetime Cubing. So let's get right into this. So as you may or may not know, I don't know if I still am that good, but I used to be an all-rounder in cubing, and the way I did that was I would try and practice all the events as much as I could, mostly leading up to competitions. When there was no comps, I would just practice big cubes because big cubes are my main events. So in this video, I'm going to try and break down a strategy that you can try and follow to get good at a variety of different events. Also, I know I have a mustache now, but that's just because I haven't trimmed it in a while. So please forgive the mustache. But let's start this out. So the first thing I'd like to say is cubing, when you're focusing on improvement, is a mix of simple casual solves and focused timed solves. And the way I'm going to split that up is I'm going to say on weekdays you have this, and on weekends you have this. Also, technically this is a continuum episode because I'm using this, but I'm not going to count it as one because a continuum is supposed to be about like cool geeky stuff. Anyway, so we have weekdays and weekends. So now when it comes to weekdays, I would recommend you split each day. Of course, this is only for break. So this is assuming you have not much going on, not much on your plate right now. So I would split each of my days into 3 blocks. So 1, 2, and 3. So in fact, I'm going to extend these a bit because I don't have enough space. But the first block, we're just going to call morning. The second block is the afternoon or the evening. So it's like the aftevening. I don't know. Just whatever you want to call it. And then the night is the night. These are the nights. Okay. So we have 3 blocks. Now, there's one thing I want to make really clear here. These 3 blocks are extremely subjective. You can split these in any way you want. You can allot any amount of time that you want. You can allot any time of the day that you want. Morning, after evening, and night. I should have called it something better. Anyway, block 1, block 2, and block 3 are fully subjective. So, for morning, assuming you wake up early, this would be like pre-noon. But if you wake up late like I do, this is probably around noon, which is fine. And then after evening is like close to the evening, but kind of the afternoon is close. And then night is just night. It's way off there. Okay. My recommendation is morning, you have daylight. And if you're like me and you live in the northern part of the US, you are probably not getting a lot of daylight right now because it's the winter. So I would recommend doing big cubes and megaminx, which is also like a big cube, but it's not big in any way because it's just much easier to solve. So in the morning, I would recommend doing big cubes and megaminx. Now there's a reason for this. I fully understand that most of us watching this video probably have lighting in their rooms. And I should probably have turned mine on before starting this recording, but it's too late for that. So, the point is, for some reason, I found this through years of doing big cubes. For some reason, it seems to be more convincing to do big cubes when there's daylight. And I don't know why. I think maybe it's just me. I get kind of drowsy when I'm fully indoors and I'm doing big cubes because, I don't know, I just can't seem to focus as much on the cubes. It's like very mellow. It's winter. Nothing's happening outside. The campus that I'm on just looks kind of dead because everyone's at home, right? So, because of that, I would suggest doing big cubes and megaminx in the mornings when you have daylight and when you can focus for long periods of time without losing your attention. So, these particular things, I would probably allot 1 to 1.5 hours. But again, this is extremely subjective. You don't really have to follow that strictly. But yeah, that's the morning. Now, let's come to the evening, which is the afternoon to evening time. During this time, I would recommend, since it's a very quiet time of day in general, like anywhere you go, the afternoon and the evening it's kind of silent because people are just chilling, just chill guys, just watching YouTube, I don't know, like just chilling, right? So, in the after evening, I would recommend you do all of your blind events. So, that is if you are into blind events, of course, and the side events. Now, what are side events? Well, you might have guessed it already, but side events are just pyraminx, cube, square one, technically megaminx, but since we're already doing that in the morning, it doesn't count here. And is it clock? It might be clock. If it's clock, then it's clock. So it's clock. And in the evening, I would not recommend doing more than an hour of practice. The reason for this is you should chill a bit. It's fine. You know what? Do other things. Get your mind off the grind. Also remember, this is just weekdays because we still haven't come to the weekends. So yeah, spend about an hour in the evening doing blind events and side events. You can split up the times as well as you want, or like as much as you want. But at the end of the day, remember that these grinding sessions are mainly to implement what you've learned. So if you're doing any learning, well, that's what the weekend's for. So any learning will come on the weekends, and I'm just gonna write that here before I forget that it exists. So that's for the evening, and then at night, well, you want to finish off the night strong. And by that, I don't mean anything weird. I'm actually talking about doing 3x3. Because if you notice, we haven't put 3x3 on this list yet. So I would do 3x3, I would do OH, and I would also do one FMC attempt at night before you finish. So FMC is right before you sleep. I'm just putting 3 Z's to recommend right before sleep. Okay, now that I've wasted 6 seconds of your time putting the Z's, let me talk about why I think this is the right way. Not the right way, but the way I recommend you to do it. Because at night, you want to finish up with the basics of cubing. And a lot of the basics are hinged on concepts in 3x3, like F2L and ZBLL, if you do ZBLL. And concepts like that are implemented in big cubes. You have look ahead, you have a lot of these things that are basic to the Rubik's Cube. And if you want to prioritize 3x3, I would recommend doing it at night. And I would say like smash out like 100 solves at night. 3x3 and OH. You can split 50-50, I don't mind. But honestly, I don't mind whatever you do. This is just a video. I don't know why I said that. Anyway, I'm freaking out. So yeah, 3x3 one-handed. Again, it's just if you want to do it. But yeah, I would recommend doing it at night. And one FMC attempt at night. This is like the late hours of the night. Like it depends on what you define as late. For me, that's like 1 a.m. But for a lot of people, that's like 11 p.m. That's like 7 a.m. I don't know, boss. So that's at night. And at nights, I would recommend putting in anywhere from 1 to 2 hours if possible. But again, very subjective. All of these times I put here are extremely subjective. You can do whatever you want. Okay, that is my recommendation for the weekdays. But there's a couple of things I also want to add to this, which is when you're warming up. So it's the winter, your fingers are going to be cold mostly regardless of the time of day, depending on where in the world you live. So to warm up your fingers, here's what I would recommend. All finger warm-ups, you spam 3x3 solves. And I don't mean don't focus on your solves. Treat them like serious solves. Put them on a session that you're using. But just try and work on the speed of your fingers. The reason for this is quite simple. It's because you don't want to be in a position where your fingers are not getting enough blood flow. Like that's why your fingers are cold, right? So get the blood pumping. Do as many solves as you can. And honestly, more than number of solves, just do as many turns as you can is what I should have said. And the other thing that I would recommend is whenever you get some downtime or you don't feel like following one of these 3 practice blocks, which is fully understandable, I would recommend doing untimed solves. Now the importance of these will be way more accentuated on the weekends, but for now, I'm just going to write them here. And untimed solves, I would personally recommend all untimed solves to be on 7x7 or 5x5. There's a reason I put this gap here is because 7x7 actually helps you with 6x6 and 5x5 actually helps you with 4x4. Very debatable, I know, but let me go. So it's been observed that a lot of big cubes tend to have cascading effects on smaller big cubes. So if I do 10x10 and then I proceed to solve a 7x7, the 7x7 is going to feel like a 3x3. Well, potentially not, but you know what I mean, like a 4x4. If you do 7x7 for long enough, a 4x4 does genuinely feel like a 3x3. Just try it. Do 15 7x7 solves without like getting up, just consecutively, and then do 4x4 and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So that's the weekdays, completely done. All of this is, I'm going to put this in red. This is Monday through Friday. Okay, now comes the weekends. Now this is the really interesting part. A lot of people say when you're on a grind, you should take like one rest day. Like for example, if you're working out at the gym, take one rest day and then work out the rest of the 6 days. Now, for cubing, I would personally recommend taking a little more, but it's not about the time. So if you notice, a lot of these blocks, the reason I'll say you shouldn't focus on how much time you're spending, my point is you should be focusing more on what you're getting done, the progress you're making, the goals you're trying to achieve. Because at the end of the day, you can spend 12 hours a day cubing, But if you haven't learned anything new, or if you haven't figured out where you're doing something wrong or where you're doing something right to capitalize on it, you're not really helping yourself. Like, it's like someone studying 14 hours for an exam, but someone studying an hour and a half but fully focused for the same exam. So you want to spend not too much time in just solving. You want to also make sure you're learning where you're going wrong. Try doing, for big cubes, for example, if you have big cubes, you want to try doing splits. You want to try doing, calculate what stage of your big cube solve is the worst, or is the best for that matter, that you can like further capitalize on, right? For Megaminx, it could be S2L, like things like that. So that's my whole point with this, is that all of these times that I have written here are extremely subjective and do not need to be followed. So for the weekends, you have a lot more time on your hands. So the weekends, try and learn. So if you're doing blindfolded and you're doing freestyle, try and drill those algorithms a little bit more to get comfortable with them. So learning, probably I would say there's like 3 branches of this. One is drilling algs, of course. And then you have learning new algs. Oh, I should just have written new algs, my bad. Right, you have new algs. And the last and final part of learning is actually conceptual. And this is for stuff like, say you have pseudo slotting, right? Stuff like that, pseudo slotting. Or F2L plus X, some number of pairs with F2L in inspection. So these are conceptual things that you can try improving on, and all of these I would recommend doing on the weekends. So that's one part of the weekends. The other part of the weekends, well, this is where your untimed solves come in clutch. So all of this part of this, the whole video I've been talking about, you should do more of them on the weekends. Just as you're doing other stuff, like if you're watching football, if you're watching like whatever sport you like watching, just have a cube with you. And with that, you'll kind of develop this sense of natural solving, which could mean a lot of things to different people. But my point is that doing untimed solves will help you develop that sense of solving. So do untimed solves on the weekends. If you have time on the weekdays, do them on the weekdays too. That's why they're here as well. But yeah, the main goal is to also get them to your weekends. And a very important thing on weekends is to chill. Now, there's a reason I say this. You won't find this in a lot of guides, in a lot of grinding videos, in a lot of like mindset videos.
From Eric Ten Hag's Reds, Marcus Rashford.
And the reason for that is because chilling is considered like a waste of time. Now, in some sense it can be, but my whole point of this entire video is that you're doing all of this stuff. I'm not gonna, should I finish? Yeah, I can finish this shape. We're doing all of this stuff in blue with extreme focus. Like you're not distracted. And that is the reason I say you should chill on the weekends. It's because you need that break for your brain. Otherwise, you're gonna risk burnout. And once you get to burnout, trust me, it's not good. It's not fun. Like you're gonna end up taking more breaks. You're gonna get lazier with your practice. You're gonna break routines, etc. So just try and chill a little bit on the weekends. Do something fun. Hang out with friends. Just take your mind off of focused cubing and more onto casual cubing on the weekends. Try and have some more fun with cubing. Now, remember one thing, this is all assuming that you are going to split up your times like this. You can absolutely split up the morning, after, evening, and why did I write that? The morning, after, evening, and night blocks to the weekends as well. It's so flexible, you can do any of this. All I'm doing is giving you ideas for what you can do. And of course, the possibilities are limitless. So yeah, this is kind of what I would recommend for a winter cubing guide. I hope this was helpful, and I'm just gonna write here, this is a winter cubing guide. So I hope this was helpful, and yeah, let me know if you want me to kind of break down what I mean by each of these blocks in a different video. I can do that, but to be honest, doing that would kind of take away from the point of me saying everything is subjective. So take your own interpretations of this, try and use this to your advantage. Just treat this as a skeleton and something you can build off of. And yeah, please drop your plans for the winter in the comments. I'd be super excited to know. And Merry Christmas in advance. Hopefully I've uploaded this video before Christmas. I'm recording it on the 23rd of December. And yeah, I think that's all for this video. And good luck. Get on the grind. And remember to chill sometimes. It's all good. Take care. Have a blast. Peace.